Good afternoon. If my grandfather, if my grandfather were alive today, he would be 124 years old. Chances are he's probably not going to be living at home. Chances are he's going to be either in an institution, in a hospital bed, in a wheelchair, or in some way, shape, or form, not overly active. The individuals that care for him in our society are going to look at him and see a person in the latter stages of life, not quite understanding what value or what purpose he had during his life. And I think the fact that our caregivers in many ways treat individuals as the person right then and there versus who they are is one of the challenges that we have in serving seniors. When I was a teenager, my grandfather had a stroke, and neither he nor my grandmother, which are on the screen today, were able to drive. So every Wednesday night, my mother would go grocery shopping with my grandmother. And so as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, I was commissioned to grandpa sit. And you can imagine what my thought was. I don't want a grandpa sit. I got other things to do. But I did. And the first couple times I was there, it was grandpa sitting. We'd sit there, watch TV, and not really chat about anything. But as the weeks went on, we started talking. And we started talking about who he was. And I learned during those times that he wasn't just my grandfather, but he was a single parent with 3 children at age 25 because his wife had died in the Great Flu epidemic of 1918. I learned that he would deliver ice cubes or ice blocks to individuals who had refrigerators and no electricity by horse and wagon. And then I also learned that when the horse and wagon went away and they gave him a truck, my grandfather was kind of an impatient man. Instead of waiting to see how intersections cleared when he would drive the truck, he would decide the best way to get there quickest was to beep his horn and go on through. So you could see very quickly that he didn't last very long in driving the truck. But the point is, I got to know my grandfather. And why this is important now is we don't take the time to learn and take care of the people that we're taking care of. We see them on probably their worst day. Maybe they had a stroke. Maybe they've had a rehabilitating situation. Maybe they're just ill. And all we see is the person there that we're caring for. We don't take time to really think about who they are. So today, I'm going to take those life lessons that I learned with my grandfather and try to transform those in your mind on how we need to revolutionize senior care. We all know the silver tsunami is coming. Now, in 2015, 45% of the population is going to be 50 and older. I can't see everybody out there, but for the most of us, that's probably pretty representative. In 2030, 71.5 million people are going to be 65 and older. We're getting older. So what? So what are we going to do about not only the number of people, but how we care for people as we get older? Is health care reform the answer? We've heard more than any of us want to hear about health care reform over the last couple months. We've heard the good and we've the bad, but I'm going to submit to you what we're not hearing about is not health care reform. We're hearing about health care insurance reform, how we pay for care. We're not focusing, nor is anyone really focusing on health care reform, especially for seniors. So what does health care reform look like? In 1890, National Lutheran Home started on Northeast Douglas Street here in Washington, D.C., and this is what health care looked like in the 1890s and early 1900s. The house on the hill. It could be in some of the terror movies that you've seen, not to that bad, but it's the house on the hill. It's the home. It's where we go to die. We go there and we sing. The choir to the left, the individuals here there, They're singing and glorifying, probably glorifying God in their praises. The woman in the middle has a weaving loom, making probably pillows or some other things behind. And the woman on the right, God bless her, is sitting under a tree, looks like a rocking chair, in a Sunday best dress. You can't get very much more stereotypical than that for growing old. And now, healthcare now. What were we missing in the previous slides? We were missing men. Did you notice that, all you guys out there? We weren't there because we were gone. But now we're here. It's not just widows growing old alone anymore. Now it's couples. It's couples who are actively walking. It's couples who are actively using technology. It's singles, see, men and women who are busy. The gentleman who has the bowling ball. Have you ever seen one of those Wii competition bowling games? You want to talk about cutthroat. Those people go after each other. This is what kind of healthcare reform we're talking about when I speak of healthcare reform, is throwing out the old notion of we're going to get old, and we're not going to have value. We're going to get old, and we're going to have value. We're going to have life to live after we get to be 65, after we get to be 75, after we get to be 85. We're still going to have the capability to contribute to society. So, how do we do that? I'm sure you've all heard the story, people coming out and saying, okay, you know what we're going to do to have healthcare reform? We're going to put the little badge on somebody, around somebody's neck. You've seen the advertisement, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Healthcare reform in a badge. It's not healthcare reform. It's technology, it's enhancement, but it's not healthcare reform. We have high-tech distractions. We can put monitors in your houses. We can put monitors in your beds. We can measure, are you keeping your weight? Are you maintaining your weight? Are you going to the bathroom in time? Are you getting up in the morning? Have you fallen? We can do all that with high tech. But it's an enhancement. It's not a replacement. Many nurses that we have in our communities right now are so focused on healthcare administration, doing the paperwork that is required and saying, I need to get off the floor more and I need to do paperwork. We've got to switch that up. True healthcare reform for seniors is providing technology as an enhancement, not as a substitute for care. We have lots of distractions. We have Twitter and Woofer and Tweeter and all those things that I don't really know about. We have Facebook. How many times, who goes to a restaurant, maybe here tonight, and you'll see a couple at the restaurant, how many of them are going to have at least one of them looking at their phone during dinner? Or both of them. I love the couple that are sitting there, they got a glass of wine or some beverage in front of them, and they're both pointed the other way going like that. I think it's great. You just think, why go? Let's go out and have a pizza and we'll save $40, whatever the number is. But anyway, the distractions are there. So we've got to get away from those distractions, use those distractions as enhancements. How many of you read the book on aging? Anybody? Great book. Book on aging. Doesn't exist because none of us know how to age. Never done it before. I've never been 58 before. I think the 58 is the new 38, but that's just me. I don't know what 58 is supposed to feel like. I don't know what 75 is supposed to feel like. I don't know what 105 is supposed to feel like. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know about you, but at 58, I still kind of feel mentally like I'm 38. Maybe not, but I can't do the same things I want. So, how do we grow old? How do we learn to grow old? How do we know what we want to do? I know that when I get to be 70, I don't want to go to the house on the hill in the home and sit there in a rocking chair and say, well, wonder what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I guess I'll go take a nap, I'll get back up, and I'll get up tomorrow. I don't want to do that. Many of you know the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. It was out several years ago. Really good book. Get on the bus and all those things. But Jim Collins had a concept called BHAG. BHAG is big, hairy, audacious goal. So I'm going to throw out an idea to you today. This is our big, hairy, audacious goal at National Lutheran. And it is to revolutionize senior care. Not through technology, but to get rid of the old institutional ideas of taking care of residents, looking to residents and having a hospitality-based system to enhance their lifestyle and their contribution to society as they grow old. Just because someone's 75 or 80, we're not done. We have individuals who are learning to play a musical instrument for the very first time, learning new languages, and really focusing on, okay, I'm retired, it's my next part of life. We have to revitalize, and we want to revolutionize senior care. So how are we doing it? At National Lutheran, we have a solution. It's called We Care. We Care is a hospitality-based program. We Care the National Lutheran way. We actually put a tagline on it. We Care is a hospitality-based program that is all employee-driven. This isn't driven by me. It's not driven by my leadership team. It is driven by the caregivers. And it's very simple. The logo that you see on the screen was developed by them, and it was designed to cover the whole comprehensive levels of care. And the acronym CARE is very simply create smiles, attend to details, respect everyone, and embody excellence. Nothing really exciting and earth-shattering about that. It's basic care. Create smiles and embody excellence. So we've had this in place for about a year. How is it going? And these are a couple survey results that have come through the state of Maryland. We did not develop them, but they're based on our community in Rockville, the village of Rockville. Two statistics really jumped out to me when I read this. One is, would you recommend the My Potential short-term rehab program in the village at Rockville? 95% of our guests said they would recommend it. I find that awesome because the people who are there are usually coming out of some kind of an event, whether it's a stroke, whether it's elective surgery, but something involves pain. And having something be painful and then you leave and say, you know what, 95% of it would come back here, I think that's a good start. The other overall rating for the state average overall rating is 7.9 out of 10, or 79%. Our rating was 87%, almost 8 percentage points higher than the rest of the state, a 10% increase over the rest. We think it's a great start, and I can tell you the reason we've gotten these results is because we have focused on hospitality and not on care. What makes us different? Great care and attention to detail. If you're a caregiver in society, you're not paid a whole lot of money. You're there because you have a passion to serve seniors. And that's the individuals we have at National Lutheran. We have individuals, they don't care about not getting the big bucks. They care about their residents. 3 examples in this situation. The first one in the right-hand corner, and what makes us different, is we had a resident who was in the community, wasn't feeling well, and we found out his favorite milkshake in the world was Chick-fil-A. Well, what's not to like? And so one of our staff members saw he was having a bad day, went out to Chick-fil-A, brought him the milkshake in. He didn't ask for it. She just did it. Another person, we had a person of Korean ancestry who was there on his birthday. He wasn't getting the same kind of food he normally got on his birthday and was having a little bit of a bad day. Our caregivers noticed. They went out to a local restaurant, found the cuisine that he was looking for, and brought it into him. He didn't ask for it. They just did it. And of course, you can't go without the Starbucks latte. And I don't know how many people we have are just having a bad day. We do go out and get lattes for them. Is that a big deal? No. But the point is, our caregivers attend to those details. So it's a great start to a great revolution that we have to have. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do to have healthcare reform to seniors? I think, one, we need to embody who the person was, not just what they're doing today. Who are they? I met an individual probably on one of his last days on his life who happened to be one of the chaplains on duty the day Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. And I didn't find that out until it was too late. what fascinating stories he must have had. But I didn't take the time to learn that. We have to figure out who people are. We have to really focus on their lifestyle. What do they want to accomplish? What do they want to accomplish at the end? Do they want to learn a new language? Do they want to learn an instrument? I don't know, but we need to take the time to find out. Not just say, how are you feeling today and what can we do to help cure you or care for you? Find out what you want to do. We have to do that in a lifestyle fashion, not just in a medical fashion. We have to embody excellence. We have to instill in our caregivers education and training capabilities so they can have these tools in place so that they can do the best they possibly can as they serve those individuals who are in need. So it's an exciting time. We're very proud of what we've been able to do, but the most pride I have is that this model we're embarking on is from our employees. Not something that I said you have to do. It's we want to do this. We want to do this for the residents, not for any other reason, not for megabucks because they don't get paid megabucks, because it's the right thing. So, I will leave you with those thoughts today. It's a very exciting time. The silver tsunami is on its way. It's going to scare all of us, and we're all going to be riding the tidal wave. And I'll leave you with this thought. When you get to be the age of senior, 65, 75, and 85, what will you want? Thank you.